Wealth is an external comparison to other people. In order for someone to be wealthy, they have to be wealthier than someone else. They have to have more options and better options in any given situation, whether it's health, mobility, transportation, network, money, whatever. That's your obligation as an entrepreneur. Revenue in first position. Rule number 2, everyone's full of poop. Do not stop comparing yourself to all these fake, curated online lives. They're complete garbage. Just recognize that everyone online, everyone everywhere that you meet, entrepreneurs especially, it's not that they're liars, is that they wear rose-colored glasses.
Welcome to Seven Figure Legacy Syndicate podcast. Today with us, we have Tom Krol. Now, Tom Krol, you have been in the real estate game, in the coaching space, and so many different industries that you've actually consulted on. And we're going to dive into the 88 principles to be a successful entrepreneur and so many other deep dives. We were just talking about growing pineapples.
Right.
Having a garden filled with all sorts of different amazing plants. So Tom Krol's not just an entrepreneur, like he is so much more than that. Like you have so many different talents to bring to the table. And we're very excited to dive in with you today, Tom.
Bam! Julie, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on the Legacy Syndicate podcast. We're going to have a great adventure today. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, likewise. So for our audience, tell us a little bit. You started in the real estate game and then you got into the coaching space. Tell us a little bit about your journey and how that all happened for you.
Yeah, so I have the same story as every entrepreneur. I was poor and broke and like suffering, right, and all of that, right? So I got kicked out of college because I got my girlfriend pregnant, who's now my wife. We've had many children since then. But the first one got us booted right out of our little small Christian college. So I started work right away, and we were just, struggling to make ends meet. And then finally, after getting fired from job after job, I found real estate. I love real estate, started doing really well there. And then I started coaching it. Built a coaching business. It was called Wholesaling Inc. We were #1 in our space, hit the Inc. 500, all that good stuff, and then exited from there. And then I just started coaching coaches, coaching companies. I have clients now who are all over the map. They're coaches, consultants, course creators. They run fractional marketing companies and data companies and all kinds of things. So it's kind of been just my entrepreneurial journey has been, it started off kind of narrow. Now it's a little bit more broad. And it's been a great adventure. I'm grateful for it. It's been a lot of fun. So all good things.
Wow. Yeah, because a lot of people try to start broad and they try to tackle everything and then they get nothing done. Whereas I think the real principle behind that in scaling is that you focus on one thing and you get really, really good at that and then you expand. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, all of the men and women of consequence in the past 6,000 years, there is not a dissenting opinion. Dan Kennedy teaches us to start narrow, go broad. Gary Keller from The One Thing teaches us to focus on one thing. Scott Alexander from Rhinoceros Success talks about charging, at one thing. Daniel Lapin from Business Secrets in the Bible talks about specialization. I mean, there's literally, when it comes to entrepreneurship, there is the amateur who is pointed in on what they love and what feels good to them. And then there's the professional who is pointed out towards the marketplace and what they love. And I think that that's really what the big difference we see, even with myself, with my clients, is that, what you enjoy, I can't stand these people who say that, they do. Oh, not that I can't stand them, but this very, very bad pointed in advice of do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And it's like, yeah, do what you love and you're not going to have a lot of people who are going to want to pay you because it's not the way this game works, right? So if you want to do what you love, you better focus on what other people love and how you can match your talents and skills and resources to what they love so that you can create a business that reduces your suffering by reducing other people's suffering first. Entrepreneurship is a people-first business.
100%. I couldn't agree more with you, Tom. And one thing that I've noticed is it's that meeting between your passion, what you love, and your professional career, and then a scalable business model or something that you're able to scale with. And what I found, and maybe you have a different perspective on this, maybe you can add your perspective to this.
Okay.
Is that you might have, let's say, for example, my passion is helping people. I love building relationships. So then you become a professional networker. And then to find a service, you might say, I'd love to be someone that helps change his mindset. And then you get into that space, you start coaching, you start getting really good at that, but then you find out your time is capped on how many clients you can take over. Whereas if you come in and you have a little bit more of that professionalism coming in, you can start to plan to build a company not around you, if that makes any sense, where you're kind of fenced in as the number one skill set, but rather a company that invites people in to take on roles.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, here's what I would say. What I have seen after having, 5,000 clients is this: the men and women who find success, right? And everyone has a different variation of success. To me, success is a good night's sleep, right? Everyone becomes an entrepreneur to put their head on the pillow at night and fall asleep peacefully and not be up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning riddled with anxiety and depression.
Or answering the phone.
Yeah, or answering the phone. So I think success is internal. And even on this podcast right now, it's who's more successful. It's not comparable. It's internal. It's not external. I think wealth is the exact opposite. Wealth is an external comparison to other people. In order for someone to be wealthy, they have to be wealthier than someone else. They have to have more options and better options in any given situation, whether it's health, mobility, transportation, network, money, whatever. And so wealthy people have more options and better options than people who have less wealth, and successful people are as close internally to their ideal as possible. I think that in order to achieve great success and wealth, you have to be looking at where are my talents most closely aligned with what other people love. I think the problem is if young people especially go into what they quote unquote love, they're going to be working on multiple things simultaneously. And what I have actually found is more true in life is you really shouldn't monetize what you love. Like for instance, right? If you love, like swimming, it's like, well, yeah, you can become a swim instructor, right? But wouldn't you rather have a business that serves you and provides the time, the space, the connections, the revenue, so that you could just swim all day, right? And you can swim when you want, where you want, with who you want, or whatever that thing is. So
right.
I think I wouldn't say better, but maybe the more elevated position is this: wake up with gratitude, have a smile and a good attitude, and in the good work that you do, you will find things that you love. But like you said, to your point, if you bake pies and then you start a pie shop, just like Michael Gerber teaches us in the E-Myth, you're going to find that you might actually come to resent baking pies.
You might burn out on pies and be like, hang on, this isn't sustainable.
Right. Yeah, and it's also paradoxically the thing that makes you the most valuable in the company actually becomes the cap, right? Because now the thing that's limiting, right? Because now you're Superman or Superwoman and you bake the pies. And there's so many entrepreneurs stuck in this trap. They start off, with what I love. And the problem is so many people encourage them. They're like, do what you love.
Yeah, like, you love that, go for it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You have to worry about what other people love. And I think that this is a huge problem in our society, is that everyone is so pointed in what feels good to them, but that
self-centric.
The marketplace does not care. It's about
doesn't care.
Servant mentality, that you have to be servant-minded, humble, humility, humble service, follow service. That's the key.
Wow. I really, really love how you laid that out, Tom. And there's one quote that's always stuck with me, and I've found it to be true for every single path that I've evolved into. And whenever I talk to other business owners, they're like, yes. And there's this element of wholeness, this element of spiritual, personal, physical wholeness. And the more wholeness that you create within your life, the more that wealth is just attracted to you and comes in, and then the more alignment you have. And so there's this element of becoming more and more whole, or actually becoming more and more of who you truly are in this process. And then you're in this state of abundance where there's this flow where things are happening and it doesn't feel like a grind anymore. And that's the shift, I think, that really, really changes the game.
I could not agree more. All of the greatest men and women I know who have the greatest results, or the results that I want in a wholesome, in a complete picture, meaning if you remove their money and I had to trade places with somebody, they still get the results I want. I could see it in their family, in their children, in their household. All of those men and women of consequence, they follow that principle, and it's a complete picture. And yeah, I think that if the people who are in the right place are always in a season of, instead of chasing and convincing, they are attracting and rejecting. And that's the power play. If you want to move into a space where, whether it's relationships, business, life, money, you need to be attracting and rejecting. You want to plant flowers, get rid of the butterfly net, and if you want all the butterflies that you want, plant the best garden, and you'll attract the most beautiful caterpillars and butterflies, and you'll have abundance. But when you start chasing and convincing, and you're finding that you're talking all the time and you're trying to convince, it's exhausting. It's caused burnout. It causes a lot of suffering, and it should be avoided.
Wow. Yeah, there's something there's a really big something when it comes to being a farmer and not harvesting crops too early. Because the moment you harvest crops too early is the moment that you are in grind, because now you're taking out the butterfly net.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that, because I have all of these clients and peers and colleagues, and they use sports analogies, and I'm like, oh man, there is like zero analogies and metaphors from sports. But when it comes to gardening, I love it all day long. Thousands of seasons. If you want to leave your garden and go to Cabo for 2 weeks, you have to have an automated irrigation system. Like, that's it, right?
So like, if you can plan your company like a garden, and now you have your irrigation system, okay, that's taken care of. You have someone that trims your plants.
Yep.
You have it set up so the gophers don't take your plants down while you're away.
Right. And the whole idea here too is, and this is where, this is another piece of it, it's that, if you look at the people who've had a lot of success and wealth and you want to emulate that, you have to do the things that they're doing. You have to put revenue in first position, right? So an amateur or somebody new, they'll say, well, what about people over profits? I don't even know what that means, because if you want to devastate community, team members, clients, all you have to do is remove revenue, the fertilizer. All you have to do is remove revenue from an entrepreneur, and you will devastate people. The team, most importantly.
It's your lifeblood.
It's the lifeblood of the business, is the revenue. Revenue in first position. All the men and women of consequence are readers. The people who suffer the most, they were kids. They were told, oh, you can't read, you're an audible learner, you're a visual learner. That doesn't even mean anything. It's scientifically not true. If you can read street signs, if any of your listeners, especially the new ones, if any of your listeners are listening and they're like, what is the secret? I am telling you, commit right now. You are strong. You are powerful. You can read a book. If you can read street signs, commit to 8 pages per day, and your whole entire life will change. Audible doesn't count. There's nothing wrong with it, but you can read a book. Don't believe the lie that you get tired. First thing in the morning, as soon as the light hits your eyes and you're adjusting the light, pick up that book and read it. It is so These are the secrets. There are no secrets. It's like, it's simple. But, people want like a funnel or like a landing page. It's like, it ain't the landing page. It's like,
it ain't the landing page. I even almost fell into that trap where like, yeah, spend 20 grand on a landing page, but then it doesn't convert. What's the point of the landing page? Well, the point of the landing page is to have a garden. But if you don't have people coming into the garden, or you don't have plants if you have an empty field,
right? Yeah,
this was dirt, and you don't have seeds.
Right. Plus, if you're the owner, you have no business. You have no business on a logo, a funnels, tunnels, webinars, seminars. No, you have people, you have team members, you have your only job is to have a vision and to make sure that everyone to attract people. If you have a strong vision, this is Marcus Aurelius and Maximus. If you have a clear vision, you will attract a Maximus to go and build it. You're not a builder. If you're listening to this podcast, you are a visionary. You have to have that conviction in your belly of how you help and serve the world, and then attract people to go out and build it. This is what Robert Kiyosaki taught me. You own the cruise ship. You're not the engineer. You're not the navigator. You're not the captain. You're the owner. The owner seat is reserved for the owner. And I know a lot of people don't like Donald Trump, but what Donald Trump teaches us is that the number one predictor of success for an entrepreneur is their ability to handle pressure. And there's a lot of pressure on the owner, and you don't need additional pressure by, God forbid, trying to learn how to build a funnel or something silly like that. No way. You're just going to devastate a lot of people if you do that.
So then a scaled business, let's say they're at 7, 8 like 10 figures and they have a team and they're the CEO and they're still feeling a ton of pressure and they're still in multiple roles of the business, what is their way to find that maximus?
Well, I think, first of all, anybody who's at, 8 figures or above, right? They're not going to be struggling with that, except for the pressure piece. I think that the pressure piece is going to be, you better get used to it. You better, there is no balance in life or business. There's
no life balance.
There's no balance. It's, if I'm going to move to one seat, I have to get up out of the other seat, but there is absolutely harmony and there are seasons. But if your idea of ownership is getting out from under pressure, there is no such thing. I mean, pressure is, everyone talks about, a lot of new gurus, right? They'll get up and they'll start talking about fear of failure. I've never met an entrepreneur in my life who has a fear of failure. I don't even know what that means. Like, they will literally go out and do anything, right? What they're really afraid of is success, because they understand that success increases the pressure, like Teddy Roosevelt, right? The man in the arena. And there is risk to having success. You are going to attract haters and lawsuits and problems and idiots and thieves and people in your own family who are like doubting, and it's the fear of success. It's the fear of vulnerability. And a lot of entrepreneurs are very lonely. They don't have a lot of friends. They don't know how to sometimes, the things that sometimes make them good entrepreneurs make them struggle in other areas.
Hard to work in regular relationships.
For sure. So I think that the reality of the situation is, if you're the owner, you have to have a clear vision. You have to understand what that obligation is. You have to attract a team to build your vision. You have to put revenue in first position. Don't partner too early. Never partner when you can hire.
Partner too early.
Yeah. Partnering too early. That's another killer.
I'm hoping you didn't. Did you have that? Did you partner too early, or were you able to learn from that?
Julie, if you want to know the sins of the preacher, listen to what he preaches about. Yeah.
Because I made that mistake in my business as well. At some multiple times in the early days.
A lot of people will say, Tom Krol doesn't like partners. And it's not that I don't like, I have tons, I have partnership. I have a partner I just formed. I'm doing a partnership right now, but here's the thing. Good partnerships, like any relationship, they're not 50-50. Here's what I'm not going to do, and here's what I am going to do. They're very clear, and they don't have that euphoric enthusiasm and that lie of like, Tom's good at this and Julie's good at that, and Tom's not good at that, and Julie is good at that, and so we're going to go 50-50 and make... No. It's like, here's what I'll give you 45 minutes once a month. You can have access to my network, and I want $1 per unit sold and 3% in perpetuity, and that's a partnership. But this whole, we're friends, and my kids call him uncle, and all that other garbage, and that's just complete trash, and that is super dangerous. But yes, to answer your question, all of my rules, all 88, are... because I messed up at some point, or one of my close friends did. Yeah.
I love it, because I've taken some of my greatest mistakes and turned it into like, hey, by the way, I'm just letting you know before you do this. And I like what you said about partnership as well, because the friendship and the high euphoria and the high fives is amazing, but that's not the revenue.
Right. Yeah. You got to have impulse control. And rule number 8 of reading 8 pages per day, if you're an entrepreneur, you darn well better have impulse control. And a really good remedy to poor impulse control is reading, and that discipline to slow down and open a book and read anything by Ryan Holiday or Daniel Lapin or Elaine Bennett from Dream First, Details Later, or whatever good book you like. That will help your impulse control from frantically partnering with some opportunity that hasn't even made $1 yet.
You have to be able to turn down opportunities. And the more successful you become, the better you are at turning down the wrong opportunities.
Focus more on fewer things. 100%. I agree. And it also comes down to who you're listening to. You have to... One rule that we follow in my group is you only take feedback from 5 people. It's the people who love you, the people who pay you, the people you pay, the people who regulate your industry, and the people who are where you want to be. And if they're not on that list... I don't know how other people run their household, but I'm the head of my household. And in my household, if you're not on that list, you ain't telling me nothing. I don't want you pouring into my children, into my wife. I don't care what your opinion is. If you don't love me, pay me, I pay you, you regulate my industry, or you're already where I want to be, I'm not going anywhere near you because you're going to be giving me advice, even though you might have good intentions, but you are going to be dead wrong and you could take me or my kids or my wife or my family down a path that I just don't want to go down. And you're bad at, because sometimes people say, well, sometimes you could learn from people who did. No, you can't. No. The people who did not, there's 10,000 ways to do things incorrectly. There's only a handful of ways to do things correctly. So your bad experience doesn't qualify you to teach me. I want to know. Yeah, this is what Jim Rohn teaches us. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But if you're spending time with the wrong people, like if someone started sending me text messages that I can't show my wife because they're inappropriate, it's the wrong person, right?
Yeah.
If you start spending time with that person, the good people want nothing to do with it. They could smell those people on you. They don't want anything to do with you. So you want to start spending time with the right people. Get rid of the wrong people first. Anybody who's doing the wrong thing, cheating on their spouse, they're always in the latest emergency. They're complainers. They're spreading rumors. Every time they call you, there's some drama. No way. No way. Drinking too much. I know it sounds harsh, but life is short. I don't have any time for that stuff.
I love that. That's it, because a lot of times you'll hear, okay, the 5 people that surround yourself with, and then it's like, well, what does that really mean? And I feel like you got really deep into who and why. And ultimately, it's the people that are helping you build your life and your relationships and your business. And then the people that aren't anyway supporting that or in connection or, it's then that you really can't have that, you don't have all the time in the world. You only have so much time. And
people will say, like, how do you get those people? I'll share a trick with you that the first thing you do is cut off the wrong people, right? So anybody who's doing the wrong thing, they're automatic. You just kind of stop being really slow. Yeah, just chop them out. So you're super slow to respond. You cut those people out first, and then you kind of start with a blank slate. And what you do is, rule number 40 for us is 40 good people. So what you do is you make a list of 40 people who you should have in your life. These are people in your industry, the leaders, the mayor, the whoever, right? All the people. And then what you do for 8 weeks, every single morning, right? Robert Cialdini teaches us this in the book Influence, right? He talks about reciprocity. Every single morning, you take 5 minutes out of your day and you send that person some love, right? So if it's somebody who just released a podcast and they're on that list and it's day 1 of the first 40 days, Monday through Friday, rate, review, subscribe, and share their podcast with your audience. If it's somebody who has a YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave a positive comment, and then let that person know. Don't ask entrepreneurs how you can help them. Just help them. They're very clear about how to help them, right? You do that 40 people. It's going to take you 8 weeks, Monday through Friday. And then on week 9, you just start right again with the first name on the list. And you do that, I guarantee you, your revenue is going to be X higher by the end of that year. And you're going to have a network of, forget 5 people. You're going to be invited to. These people are indebted to you. They love you. I mean, I can't tell you how many victory bells I've sent out to all of that, right? But love on the right people, build reciprocity with them. Don't expect anything back in return. Don't ask them how you can help them. Just help them. Just go out and do it. Don't ask, just do it. And your life will, in 90 days, in 40 days, but certainly in a quarter or a year, your life will be so radically different. I mean, it's not even going to be close. It won't even be close.
Well, that's exponential growth because you're 6 people away from everyone in the world.
Right.
And every network gets you closer to where you need to be. Instead of imagine that, like, I love what you just said there, because imagine that you're in a DM chat and you're like, hey, how can I help you? Like, they're like, dude, I don't have time for this. You should know. You should know how to help me.
Right.
You should.
If they're on that top list of 40, I guarantee you, entrepreneurs, if they're worth their weight in salt, they are crystal clear on how you can help them. Or, I can't tell you how many times I have a buddy of mine who he loves very expensive, cheeses, and we sent him some cheese from Switzerland and we had it flown in, and or if somebody's under the weather, we send a huge bowl of this soup from the soup company and it comes with a ladle and a thing. This life is so easy, and you can really reduce your suffering if you don't approach with pointed in. If you approach with take that arrow every morning and just go towards other people and help them. Business is so simple, but owners are so complicated. They make this so much more difficult than it has to be. It's a simple thing.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is I've even just having people on the podcast or making introductions or,
Yeah.
you know, I've built some amazing relationships where I know that I can call them and we can have a conversation. And they're willing to help me, and I will just continue to connect them with my network. And it's easy. It's just like you're serving. It's that servant heart, and it's just having your heart on full blast every single day. And there's something to be said about expanding your heart frequency and your energy and your conviction, because that actually will blast things out of your space that aren't meant to be there. And if you're on dial 9 every single day you wake up, and you're on dial 9 at the end of the day in terms of your energy and your emotional stability, there's only going to be good things in that space because there's no room for anything else.
100. This is where I cannot even stress this enough. It's like everybody wants to know the secrets of scale. You know, they use these words that everybody has a different definition for, like scale.
Scale, AI.
Yeah. It's not that. It's not that.
It's optional.
Yeah, if you really want to have a radical shift in your revenue, in your time, in your peace of mind, it's the old ancient principles. There's nothing new under the sun. These principles are 6,000 years old. All the new stuff is garbage. It's complete garbage. This is why I always tell my clients, read all the time. Don't pick your own books. Your first 100 books, they should only be books that your mentor recommends, because 80% of the books out there are new. You might, God forbid, pick up something like The Secret or something that's like just completely like new age thinking. No. Old principles, 6,000-year-old principles. They worked then, they work now. The problem with all of the new stuff is there's always like a little bit of truth in it that makes it, like, gives it a hook. But the reality is most of it is pointed in. And all of the people, Brene Brown and Byron Katie, they all teach us is the people who have the most amount of suffering are the people who are pointed in, right, do what you love. No. Right? All the people who suffer the most are pointed in, and they have a lot of personal preferences. They're always me. That's not the secret. The real secret is don't read The Secret. The real secret is just follow the ancient principles that are 3, 4, 5, 6,000 years old, and life will be just a breathing exercise. It's peaceful, and you'll just have all the fruit and vegetables that you need from your garden. You'll have enough for your family, your friends, your neighbors. It'll grow all season long. You can have a big harvest. You can have smaller harvests throughout the year. Everything is just as it should be. Nothing should be any way. You're just part of a larger process. Like, you don't have to overthink and complicate and chase and stress out and convince, and you don't have to do any of that. It's all just yeah, I don't know how else to put it. It's just like,
you brought something to my attention that I really had to dissect. And I had to take what people were telling in business and spiritual principles that were like off. You just feel it, like you're reading it and you're like, it's there's truth, but then there's this. And like I took maybe multiple years like dissecting and dissolving and like restructuring it, and really like restructuring, like, okay, that's not quite the right way to operate. That's not quite the full truth. And then obviously there's older texts as well. But what in your mind are some of the guiding principles that you use from ancient texts that haven't been, changed or adapted or restructured to someone else's preferences based on what they want to put out?
Yeah, there's so many. I'll make it easy, right? Because they can get complicated. And if you start to read Stoic principles or biblical principles or principles from, Christianity or Judaism,
it starts to get complicated very quickly.
Right. And they're also very philosophical. So here's how we wind them down, right? Number one, this is for entrepreneurs, right? Number one, first rule number one, revenue in first position. I don't care what you do your day starts, you don't move off revenue until you collect money. You could set a date, and you can set a limit. Like sometimes for some people it's $7,500 or $10,000 or $3,000, right? But you don't do nothing until you bring in revenue. That's your obligation as an entrepreneur. Revenue in first position. Rule number two: everyone's full of poop. Do not stop comparing yourself to all these fake curated online lives. They're complete garbage. Just recognize that everyone online, everyone everywhere that you meet, entrepreneurs especially, it's not that they're liars. is that they wear rose-colored glasses. So it's not so much that they're lying, it's that they just see the world differently. So you as a man, as a woman, you need to see that and be like, okay, I'm not going to take everything on face value, right? So rule number 2 is, from the richest man in Babylon, don't give your money to a bricklayer to buy gems. It basically means everyone's full of poop. Rule number 3, this is an ancient principle that's wound down to something simple. When you find something that works, don't stop doing it. And, you could delegate it, but how many entrepreneurs do we know, right? They do something, oh, it was serendipitous, it was a coincidence. No, it wasn't. You got to keep doing it. Rule number 4 is never partner when you can hire. Rule number 5 is you only take feedback from 5 people. Love you, you pay, regulate your industry or already where you want to be. Rule number 6, this is a huge ancient principle. When everyone is part-time, the project will fail. Every single time, there are no exceptions. If you are going to start a company and you're not going to be full-time, you darn well better get somebody who's in there full-time. They go to bed thinking about it. They wake up thinking about it. Every LLC needs a full-time person. If it's not passive, it's a job. So unless it's a business, you got to treat it that way. Rule number 7 is a huge ancient principle. Strive to be the best, not the biggest. Biggest is all pointed in. Nobody cares about you. None of these people are going to your funeral. There's going to be like 5, 10, 25 people there. You are the servant. You are not the master. You're the entrepreneur. As the owner, strive to be the best. Whatever it is, focus more on fewer things, and life is easy, right? As soon as you start to say, I want to be the biggest, I want to be the best, all problems, all suffering, all negativity. Rule number 8 is read 8 pages a day. All the greatest men and women of consequence are readers. There's no exceptions. There's not a dissenting opinion here. If you go back in history, there are tons of people. Reading is so powerful. There's times in history where it was kept from some people because they understand it physically changes. Your brain actually physically changes from reading. Everyone wants to be rich, and it's like there's no secret. Read a book. It's like read. That's it. Secret. Rule number 9 is the 9 principles of marketing. It's a little complicated, but basically, don't use your entrepreneurial creativity to reinvent marketing. It's just copy other people. Go big.
Duplicate works.
Yeah, it's basically the rules of marketing. The first few are copied, big, consistent, singular, fast response time, delegated, A/B split tested all the time, and double check it because sometimes a link is broken, so it's silly. And rule number 10 is measure your net worth with your significant other, whether it's a spouse, partner, whoever, fiance. Measure your net worth. This is what we see. Poor people who suffer, right? The poor save, the rich invest.
Yep.
The poor only worry about cash flow, monthly, right? What can I afford? The rich focus on cash flow and net worth.
How can I make this better? How can I improve? How can I add more revenue and be able to pay my team more?
I'm telling you, these things are so simple. Just measure your net worth every single month. And if it's not going up every single month, something is drastically broken in your finances. And if you're going broke, that's not good. There's no nobility in poverty. And then rule number 11 is just hire fast, fire fast, promote fast. That's it. I mean, the rules, there's 88 of them, so we can go on forever, but those are the quintessential. Like if you just do that. Yeah, those first 11, my goodness gracious. I mean, you'd be surprised. Sometimes we find people they come into us and they come to us and, I mean, you can have radical, needle-moving, significant, massive change in just a week if you just slow down for 1 second and just wait a second, hold on. What am I actually doing? What am I here for? What is happening? Why is this all spiraling? And then just go easy, row your boat gently downstream with the flow, merrily, with a good attitude. Life is a dream. Anything's possible. That's the rule. Row, work hard. Your boat. Like, calm down. It's all there. You're going to be fine. Just follow the old ways of doing things. And, then it's, I know it's like, it sounds like so philosophical, but it's so simple. There's so much craziness in the world. I don't know how else to
There's so much distraction.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, social media is like a mind programming type thing, like the news, like all of these things, you turn them off. Like don't get yourself in a place where you're allowing your external reality to code your mind, because once that happens, then all of this other stuff that you're talking about is hard to implement because you're getting blasted from all angles,
I mean, if you are finding that you are addicted to scrolling, let me be very clear about this, right? Go out and get a flip phone and you will dominate. I am telling you, Trust me, if you guys are listening to this podcast with Julie and I, there is no competition. There is no competition. Do you understand? People are all day long for like an hour and 2 hours a day, literally scrolling. You are an entrepreneur. You produce content. You do not consume it. You are not a consumer of content. You have to, if you can't control yourself, go get a flip phone. And I am telling you, you want to talk about 10xing your revenue? There are people literally in your space who are scrolling like for over an hour. This is not an exaggeration. Like they're literally doing this. Like it's like being brain dead. So you could totally dominate. I don't care what you do. You could sell brass for door hinges and you're going to outperform everybody in your space.
Well, think about it this way. If, traditional cold calling, it still works. And the reason why is you have a flip phone. Everyone else is consuming hours and hours of content. But if you call like 100 of your contacts.
Oh, forget it. Yeah.
Come on. Like,
well, so let me say this, right? Because you just gave me, so rule number 14 is the people most likely to pay you in the future are the people who've paid you in the past. So if you just do what Julie just did, yes, go through your Rolodex. You want a chateau in the south of France? Go through your Rolodex, call 100 people, come up with some $46,000 mastermind at Lake Tahoe, sell it to 10 people, and go get your chateau in France. I mean, this is easy.
It's easy. It is. And here's, I've actually used this principle so simply. An example, client said, hey, I need to get a couple more jobs this month. And he was in a rough spot. I'm like, well, have you reached out to anyone? He's like, no. I'm like, you're on the call with me right now. Don't waste any more of my time. Call 5 people. He got 2 jobs. 2 jobs. Call 5 people.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
And within the 3rd call, he'd already gotten 2 jobs and a referral.
Julie, I love it. It's 100% true. I know. It's like, I'm telling you, ownership is easy. Owners are complicated. I cannot tell you. People are like running around. I don't know what they're doing. If people would just take a time out for 1 second and just do the basics. Brilliant at the basics. That's what my friend Joe McCall likes to say. But anyway, that's what I have for you today. Yeah, it's all simple stuff.
I thought, this is just so amazing. Like the flavors, it's like you've brought me a whole crisp garden salad from your garden and you shared it with us today.
I love it. Bam.
So amazing, Tom, to have you on this podcast with us. Please let us know where the best places are to reach out to you. And please put some comments down if you've watched this podcast, what you've gotten out of it. And we would love to have you back on, Tom.
Anytime, Julie. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time today and allowing me to share some of this with your audience. I hope it benefits them. And the number 1 rule is garden metaphors for business, way better than sports analogies. But
way better. You're crashing into each other. Like, no, don't do football.
Yeah, no, not football. Awesome. Thanks, Julie. I appreciate it. Good spending time with you today.
Thank you guys so much, and bye for now.
Awesome. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Oh my gosh, how long did it take you to come up with the 88 rules, Tom?
A decade.
A decade.
Over a decade, yeah. Well, working with so many clients. The great thing about being a consultant is I get to see comparatively, right, so many different types of, the A drivers, the introverts, the extroverts, the engineers and architects versus the like charisma and the charismatic person. So, but it, reading Holiday, Lapin, Peterson, Bennett and all of those people, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, like all of those books, I found that the more you read, and then what Jordan Peterson teaches us, that one of the greatest forms of thinking is writing and reading and then writing and wrestling with those ideas and really trying to unpack them. But you see it, I'm on the phone today with, I don't know, 7 or 8 entrepreneurs. And, we're all just like a whole bunch of 3rd graders just wearing adult clothes, like, thinking that we're like, so, but at the end of the day, we're just following, we're all following scripts. And so it took a long time because it has to, in order to be a principle, it has to always be true, right? So it can't be like the grass is greener, is not always greener on the other side. Well, yeah, no, sometimes the grass is absolutely
That's
greener.
The thing. See, that principle it doesn't work that well. Yeah.
Right. So it's got to always be true. It has to give you instruction on a fork in the road, right? So it has to give you a decision. So it has to act like a compass. And it has to be important enough that I would share it with I have 5 children, so it's got to be important enough to share with my kids. So if it's not like, if it doesn't hit those criterias, it's not part of the 88. But it's, and it also, I have I don't want to say a simple brain, but my brain it's better when you give me a problem and I'm like, wait a second, what's the instructions I can put, Tom, should I partner? Well, hold on, let me run it through all of my rules, right? And so that's how it came up.
I love that. And the other thing too is a lot of people make emotional, impulsive type decisions, and they don't have, it's not that you always need a rule book, but sometimes, like even in hiring, like when you're hiring people, the moment you let someone in just on emotional impulse without actually making sure it matches your criteria is where things can go wrong,
The rule number 13, you're hitting all the early rules. So rule number 13, only hire people who have jobs. You want to get a job? You want to work for me? Go get a job and I'll steal you from somewhere else. But I don't care. I don't want to hear nothing about nothing. I'm not a Fortune 1000 company. I'm not going to take a risk, right? So one of the things I would say on hiring is you want to get, if you only hire people, no exceptions. I don't care what the situation is. COVID, I don't want to hear it. Go get a job and then apply. But if you don't, my team knows if you send in an application and you don't already have employment right now, no way, Jose. And why do we know this is true? Because look at the lawsuits and the problems and you say, okay, what is the common thread that we see with all the biggest problems? They didn't have a job when they were hired. Okay. Never have a problem. Almost never. Common thread. They had a job. You stole them from somewhere else. Like it's so black and white, right? I mean, it's like,
wow, that makes a lot of sense because every time I have taken an interview and they don't have a job, it's like, no.
Yeah, no way. You can look at that even in your own life, like with your clients. Go back and look like for the past year or two, the people who they stole from me, whatever it is, with your own clients, I guarantee you will see it's people who aren't working.
Or people who don't have the ability to generate wealth or to generate their own job. Like when I was back working, when I wasn't an entrepreneur yet, I was pitching people on what I could do for them. And I was naming my own price and then I was negotiating my hourly rate.
Bam!
Right?
I love it. That's good.
Right? And then so then I just used that same principle for helping people hire, reverse engineered that.
Awesome.
But
I love it.
Yeah. Wow. See, so I'm hitting your rule book.
Yeah. As soon as it's out, I will send you a copy. I've got to jump because I've got a 1:30, so I've got to take a bio break. But Julie, this was a great adventure. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much, Tom. And I'd love to have you on for a workshop later on. Maybe we could talk about that because, oh my gosh, what you have you blew my mind today. And I really appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you having me. And I'm super accessible. Anytime you need me, just let me know or let Tony or Stephanie know or whoever. We'll get you. I'm happy to do it with you. That would be cool.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Have a good one.
God bless. Be well. Talk soon.